Welcome to Manga Machinations! This is episode number 456, and we're doing Ryuko, Part 2. I'm Doc Zoo, and with me is Dar Fox 8.
Hello, everybody.
Hi, everybody. Seamus is supposed to be here, but he's running a little behind. I think he said he got caught in between buses. So I'll probably appear whenever he shows up. Which he should show up sometime, but we just don't know when.
You will hear familiar tones eventually.
Yes.
Irish tones.
Yes, welcome to our podcast. Essentially, we're a book club for manga. And yeah, we are streaming live over on youtube.com/MangaMacTV. Another live recording streaming on YouTube. Starfox is there with his camera. He's got his new setup with his nice PC. You got your IQ working. Look at that nice pink coloring.
I got IQ on my face with the sunbeams right here.
That thing is so bright.
Even my face has RGB right now. I guess the sun is just coming through my window right there and just hitting me in my face. But that's like I toned down the intensity of the RGB on the computer like way down. So like, cause before it just blow out my image. Now it's just slightly blowing out my image, but on the computer part, which I don't mind. But yeah, it could be a lot brighter.
Listen, Darfox finally put in his new graphics card, which has been sitting around for months. Because he finally got his new power supply.
Which is power supply is right back here. And the power supply is this rainbow color thing. The graphics card, the rainbow color thing going on here. It's pretty beefy, and I got it as a gift, so I'm very, very grateful. It will help me play games, stream games, and edit video in the future. So
we just need to upgrade your storage space. You need some more SSDs.
Yeah, I have an external hard drive that I can kind of shuffle stuff around. So I ended up opening up like 140 gigs of space on my SSD. So I'm good for right now.
Nice.
You know, that'll last a couple months maybe.
You gotta install that Exoprimal.
I did. I saw it last night.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, we're gonna flex on Exoprimal.
I mentioned this like in our other Discord that we hang out in, but that game reminds me of Overwatch, and I don't know, man. I was watching someone stream it, and they're playing there's a tank that's like Reinhold from Overwatch.
Yeah.
And he wasn't tanking correctly and shielding people, and I started getting mad. And I immediately stopped myself. I was like, "This is Overwatch all over again."
See, it reminds me more of the co-op mode in Resistance 2, which was like it was a minor mode in the game that people really, really liked, but like similarly, you had a shield. There was only 3 classes in that game. It was the DPS, the tank, and the healer. So like it was very, very limited roles you could play, and in that game, maybe because the community was pretty small, there was never that issue of like the person wasn't using their shield right or whatever. So
I guess we'll find out. But yeah, I want to throw over to remind our listeners that you can buy us a coffee to support us. Darfox reminded me before we started streaming that please throw to the coffee so we can put up the coffee image. If you want to support Manga Machinations, buy us a coffee. ko-fi.com/mangamac. And thank you so much to the people who have donated to our coffee. I want to thank Deluid, Mia, Wyatt, Philip, Vicky Dalton, Dr. Meltface, and Poor Mexican 72. Thank you so much for donating.
I believe White and Philip from the list are actually repeat donators. They have donated more than once.
Yes.
So extra generous. Thank you so much.
Is Poor Mexican 72 Lightning Bolt?
Yes, Lightning Bolt.
Okay. That's very nice of LB to
yeah, I sent him when he donated, I sent him, I said like, bro, like you're a college student. You don't need to be donating money to us. I forget what he said, something, snarky and weird, internet kid like. I forget what he said.
Yeah, he's a good kid. But yeah, if you want to help support this podcast, you enjoy what we do, buy us a coffee. It will help us buy more manga. Okay, we'll move along from coffee. I I was gonna do email since we're waiting around for Seamus, but the last email I got was from Tyler. This is the last one I had, and it was about the Anime Expo like licensing news. Darfox and I both missed that, so we're like,
Yeah, very
we're
unplugged
gonna,
at the moment.
yeah. It was when Twitter was blowing up and like having really bad like limit to like Twitter reads and whatever that weekend. So it was a bad time. So I did not keep up on that news. So we're gonna skip that email. Sorry, Tyler.
We might revisit that. It depends if we look back and we see something that's like really, really juicy that we really like.
Yeah. But yeah, sorry. But yeah, also we're out of emails now, so you want to send an email, you can skip ahead past Chris from Canada and Tyler, and we will read your email. So make sure you send emails over to mangamachinations@gmail.com. Okay, let's move along to some what you been reading now. Darfox, I just looked at the cam. Are you like doing like a little jiggle dance in your chair?
I'm bouncing my knee.
Okay. I just glanced over and I'm looking at the feed and it's like a little behind too, so it's just I was like, what is my friend doing here?
I did do a jiggle dance now.
Now you did, yeah.
Now that you said so.
And well, jiggle dance aside, Dar, what did you do this week? What did you read or watch?
What did I do? Did we do it? I feel like we've been watching so much anime and stuff lately that. Did we? Oh yeah, we did in fact watch one episode of an anime.
Oh, yeah, we watched that last night. You
Yeah,
want to talk about Helk?
Yeah, let's talk about Help. Help was okay. I felt like it didn't hit as hard or as like it wasn't as entertaining as I thought it was going to be. Um, I don't know if you agree or not.
I do.
It's an okay first episode. I just was expecting it to be like a lot more, just like attention grabbing and a lot more like hey, this is funny. Like tune into this kind of thing.
The manga is very punchy, as you called it, where like even in the first chapter, it's immediately hilarious. Like the setup is like kind of serious fantasy world where the hero has killed the demon lord, and now we're in the demon realm, and they're doing a tournament to find a new demon lord, and there's a human there, and the human hero's there. And the main demon woman is like, why is there a human hero there? Why didn't you disqualify him? What the hell? This guy's totally gonna, like, destroy us. But the human hero, Helk, is just like, I hate humans. Let's destroy them! So, like, that's the comedy. But it's like a 10-minute setup of, like, really seriousness leading up to that point before they get to the jokey parts.
Yeah, I feel like they could have cut it down some. The a lot of the humor is that like Helk is super over with the demons, with the demon population. People love Helk.
Mr. He-Man.
Yeah. But like is she the demon lord, the demon princess, or just somebody in charge of this tournament?
She's like a demon general.
Okay, yeah. So like she's super untrusting, so she's constantly trying to expose him or figure out like what's his angle. And people like the demon populace genuinely love him and they're just cheering him and he's just like saying everything they want to hear. So that's generally the funny bit in the beginning, and I feel like it didn't kind of get enough of that.
No, there's some little bits like they try to mess with the tournament and be like, okay, let's make it so it's not just a fighting tournament because Hulk's level 99, he's way too strong. Let's make it about making a house of cards, a tower of cards. And then like they mess with his cards to make them super slippery, but he does it anyway. But in the process, he blew away like other contestants' like cards, and like the demons start to like complain, "Hey, that's cheating!" But another demon reads too deeply into it. It's like, this is like building a demon castle. And why can't, if you can't even protect your castle, you can't be the demon lord. Or they do like a cooking contest, and like the untrusting demon, she's like, I'll just be a judge. I'm gonna give him 0 points. But Hulk makes such a delicious parfait, she has to give him 10 points. It's funny, we were watching this with Lightning Bolt, and as soon as the thing started and she started talking about her plan to be a judge, he was like, oh, she's gonna give him 10 points anyway. He was right.
Yeah.
Do you know what I think, Dar? It's the story of Hulk, especially in the manga, it's focused on the comedy for a long while, but then like the latter half is like gets into kind of more like serious drama. And I think they want to balance that because there's no way they're going to be able to cover the entire story of Hulk in one season. They might be able to do in 2 seasons if they like cut a lot of stuff. So maybe they just want to pre-emphasize this like this shit is actually going to get serious. So maybe that's why. But yeah. I wanted more jokes. I like the jokes of Hulk. That's kind of like the entertaining part of it, you know?
Yeah, Hulk was that on High Dive? Is that right?
Yeah, high dive.
Okay, yeah. So it's I don't think it's available on Crunchyroll. So you need a High Dive account. So if you got one for the Oshinoko, go check out Hulk. It was decent, and it might get a lot funnier as it goes on.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. You know, I watched Hulk with my wife, and as soon as it started, she's like, "This is like that show, you know, with the fighting." And I was like,
Oh,
Yu Yu Hakusho?" And she was like, "Yeah,
oh, because the tournament.
yeah." I put it together, but then I was like, "You said the fighting. There's so much anime with fighting." It's some good, funny stuff. Dar, did you watch anything else?
I really feel like it did, but I can't recall anything. So I must not. Have you been reading the One Punch Man, like the new English chapters? Like, do you know where they
Yes.
at in the story?
Yeah, yeah. The
So,
newest. Did they do the one about Atomic Samurai wanting to find out the secret behind King, and he meets him at like it ends with meeting him at the fucking sushi conveyor belt sushi place.
they might have done that already.
Oh shit! Did I spoil something? That's the newest Japanese chapter that came out this week.
Oh yeah, no, no. That will like for some reason One Punch Man Days in Silent Pub, they're like a couple weeks behind for some reason.
Okay, okay, okay. Sorry, everybody. That's what's coming next.
Yeah, yeah. No, like the last thing I read was basically the hero organization was trying to fix a fight for betting because there's like that underground like betting pool for like heroes, but turns out they accidentally made like a really powerful demon. So like this guy who was really inspired by what's a Kamen Rider? What's his name? The fake the bicycle guy.
Oh, you mean like a Moomin Rider?
Movement
Yeah.
Rider, yeah, yeah. So like he has to just like fight this really powerful demon, and then um Saitama shows up and saves him the same way that he saved Moomin Rider. Um, but like it was I enjoyed it because like the whole like underground betting stuff from the hero organization, they're obviously like they've already established that like it's very corrupt. And there's like this subplot that's probably going to be the main plot about like a second organization of heroes propping up. It's going to be like a competitor, an alternative to the hero organization. I'm just curious how far like the one chapters have gotten into that.
You want to hear a funny story?
With that.
That was a Murata original. It was not done by one.
Oh, wait, which parts? So the both parts or the alternate hero contest or whatever
This hero
company?
gambling thing.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, I like that.
It was good. Nice heartfelt moment. It still had like the funny One Punch Man joke. I am. Can I tell you, I'm really surprised with One Punch Man how they're continuing the story, even though they finished that big fight against Garo. Because like they're entering territory that like one himself has not done. Even though like the original webcomic One Punch Man that one does was on hiatus for like years. Recently this year they finally started putting out new chapters, so it is being updated, but you know, it's a slow pace. One is busy with other projects now, so
So what are these like? Are they doing the same stuff? Or are they diverted now?
They're on the same path, which is this new
Murata just
arc
adds
is
some like random shit here and there.
yeah, this new arc is kind of questioning, what is the deal with Blast, the number one hero who made a very small appearance.
Yeah.
And they had that whole angry like fight between like Tatsumaki and Saitama.
Yeah.
That was in the original, webcomic. And I don't want to say too much more because I think I'm going to enter certain spoilers, but there's plenty of material. There is plenty of material. I don't think Murata is going to catch up. But at the same time, one is still in the middle of drawing this. There's no clear end. So I just kind of wonder like how this is going to like keep going. If one's doing like regular updates, I could possibly see it like reaching a conclusion maybe next year. But that all depends on like if one updates, right? We have no idea. He self-publishes those web comics, so that's on his whatever schedule he's on.
Yeah, and he has like real manga jobs now. So
Yeah,
like,
so no clear timeline for that. Meanwhile, the Murata version, that is set on like I think he's mostly like open schedule, but it seems like he's trying to do at least a couple chapters, at least one chapter a month. It seems like so. Anything else about One Punch Man, Dar?
no. I'm usually excited to read a chapter when it comes out.
Hey, somebody's here.
Yeah.
Arrived.
Seamus, welcome.
Hello.
Game is full of ribs.
Seamus.
There's for a few hours ago now. I could do it some more. Like,
Oh my god.
Get another slab. Yeah. 2 slabs in one day.
Seamus went to like a well-known barbecue place in Chicago, and so when I awoke this morning, there was a message sent directly to me with a photograph of delicious ribs, and Seamus had a full rack of baby back ribs from Smoked.
I didn't actually think a full rack could be 2 of them, but I was hungry enough at the time to eat them all. So.
Oh my goodness. Lucky man, full of ribs.
Or nice. I'll be back there again soon enough, I'd say. Because I get a bus out to the library that's where I was staying with my aunt and uncle. I'm still using that library, so it happens to be along that route.
It's a good weekly trip to take, I guess.
I'd say we'll go more monthly now, I think. I don't think... It is like a trek to get out there and back, like... multiple buses and all that kind of stuff.
So
well, welcome, Seamus.
In that picture, was that lettuce or like coleslaw or something?
That was coleslaw.
Coleslaw.
You thought it was lettuce, Dar?
Yeah, it looks very lettucey to me. I was like, it's got.
Yeah, but don't they use lettuce for coleslaw? Or is it cabbage?
It's cabbage.
Usually cabbage, but like just the top of it, like it didn't seem. Actually, let me.
Hold on. This is in our Discord, so people can see this. Okay.
There were some red onions there as well. I would say I prefer that coleslaw because coleslaw in Ireland they have a kind of I don't know like a mayonnaise sauce or something they mix it with. I fucking can't stand mayonnaise. But this plainer version I'm a fan of.
Oh, nice. Yeah, U.S. mayo is not the best.
It's on the stream right now.
You put it up. You put it up for everyone to see.
Okay,
yeah, we actually have people in chat now. I didn't even check. I'm so sorry. Chris from Canada's here. Tyler's here. Listen, when we started, nobody was here, Seamus. Sorry. I was just going.
Just regular podcast. That's right. Yeah, they're waiting for Seamus. The beans look good. So yeah, zooming in now, I could definitely see his coleslaw, but from far away, I thought it was just like dry lettuce.
Tar.
Yeah, I was confused. I mean, it wasn't this big when I saw it on my cell phone screen.
I like how Seamus has said that he has now been converted to like some U.S. food, specifically cornbread and root beer.
What can I say? Although I was looking it up, I think cornbread up here is like sweeter than it is down south, so I might need to try out this more southern version. It's more like a cake.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's very nice.
Is that your cap on the table?
Yes, I think that's actually some local sports team because I was walking up the road and someone like said "Go Wildcats" to me, and I was like, "What the fuck are you on about?" Well, I didn't say that, but I was like, "What?" It's like I literally bought it in a shop down the road from my aunt and uncle one day because I was like, "I need a hat." And I'm pretty sure I actually saw a Wildcat sign there today as well, so I'm like, "Okay, I need to look up this team and figure out like who the fuck they are and what they do."
You can't be repping them without really knowing, you know.
That's like my problem when I talk about that Mass Effect N7 hat that I have.
Yeah, and so
I'd wear that randomly, and then people would be like, "I love that game," and I'll be like, "Huh? Oh, that's right. I'm wearing a Mass Effect hat." I stopped wearing that hat.
I think this team have been caught up in hazing allegations.
The Wildcats.
I mean,
If
sports.
they're
I have to figure out.
Yeah, we are the wrong people to talk about American sports, man.
they're a college football team, Northwestern college football team.
Okay, that's again, we're the wrong people to talk about this subject.
Wait, they're an American basketball? They're also a basketball team.
Is the Wildcats just the mascot for the school? So there's multiple teams for multiple sports.
Oh, okay.
That's my assumption. That's why there'd be multiple teams.
But they're saying they're a professional basketball team. No.
I don't know. I'm the wrong person to talk about sports. I do not care about sports.
I hear hazing in sports and I say no duh.
Unless it's professional wrestling.
Sports entertainment, you say?
Yes. You gonna watch some of those G1 matches, Darfox? You wanna watch those Eddie Kingston matches?
I do want to watch Eddie Kingston, yeah. How was a spicy Memphis? Stick with a cake. Use it on anything. Did you like it?
I like how we're just taking a tangent into fucking like what? Look at what Seamus had for dinner,
That's
for
good.
lunch or whatever.
That was lunch now. It was. I think I should have gone. I should maybe. It was good, but maybe too much across two ribs. I maybe should have got a spicy and a non-spicy.
So your mouth was on fire.
No, but it was more just like after a while I was like, I would maybe like a different sauce would be good when I'm having a whole rack of ribs. Like instead of just have the one sauce for all of them.
Just change it up. You know, a little different flavor. Yeah.
That was quite a lot of meat.
I mean, it's 2 full racks of ribs. That is a lot. Though I would totally eat that. And then I would go lie down.
Like frosted root beer. I think last time I got a butterscotch flavored root beer. Which is a bit odd, but it's quite nice.
I love how Seamus is on this root beer kick. It's so good.
I think the only drawback is that there's more sugar in that root beer than there is in Coke in Ireland. Like it's.
Welcome to America.
Yeah, man.
I have a couple of bottles here, but I literally just like have half a bottle and then I just head over half a bottle the following day.
Yep. Split that shit up.
It is different. When I was in Chile, and I was eating like Lay's potato chip, it was less salty. It felt like occasionally you see those like 50% less salt Lay's potato chip bags.
Mm-hmm.
It tasted like that. It was legitimately like less salty, and just tastes less intense. And when I came back to America, I started eating, our Lay's potato chip. It's just like a fucking mouth blast. It's just like it's.
To know what that difference is? That difference is the taste of freedom.
I know.
The FDA is here to give you the freedom of overdosing on salt, Dar.
Yeah, my high blood pressure. I'm glad you're finally seeing the light of at least a couple of the American food, Seamus.
To be fair, those biscuits or those cookies from the last day, that was when you were on about the
fudge stripes.
Yes.
Yeah, for stripes, very, very nice, very good, just off the counter, off the shelf cookies.
Oh, that was our Manga Mag bump. And I don't think Chris from Canada got to do it, but Chris is also upset that no one did his nerdability bump.
To be honest, I don't remember what the nerdability bump was. What was it?
It was that variety show, The Taskmaster. The problem is, like, we read that email, then Seamus was immediately like, "Don't watch that." So I was like, "Okay."
Oh, we were
I'll
supposed to
listen
watch.
Seamus.
We were supposed to watch some clips from Taskmaster. I'll do that. It's a week late, so I apologize, Chris. But I'll definitely watch some Taskmaster. I'm not above bad British comedians.
Do we want to give out a new Manga Mac bump this week?
Did we already say eat some barbecue? I feel like I got barbecue on the
Yeah,
phone now.
I think that's good. Eat some barbecue, and can't be Korean barbecue. It has to be American style, like brisket or ribs.
They were
barbecue
saying
sauce.
St. Louis ribs.
What makes them St. Louis ribs?
I think they were saying that they're more fat or juicier compared to baby back ribs. Like I literally, I don't know. I think I'll just order the baby back ribs and I can get back at what's the actual difference.
Sure, maybe if you taste them side to side, you could tell, but they're
Oh,
just
actually,
delicious ribs.
Yeah, I could have got a half rack of each, right? Yeah.
Yeah, and I'll say that a sandwich is okay, like a
Pulled pork.
pulled pork or brisket sandwich, just because that's cheaper. Sometimes like barbecue places are like expensive, so I don't want anybody to break their bank on our Manga Mac bump of the week.
And the only barbecue
yourself
place
something tasty.
we have here is like Hawaiian style barbecue, and it's not the same.
It's Hawaiian style.
Yeah, what is Hawaiian style?
It's
Put
just
pineapples
like
and everything.
no, it's not pineapples.
Grilled pineapple.
Nana?
I mean, grilled pineapple is delicious.
Yeah.
Grilled banana is also delicious, but no, it's like the type of like barbecue they use is like a little soy sauce base sometimes.
Okay, so it's just different kind of palate. It's a different, yeah, they're different taste.
It's not quite like there was one place that was doing a brisket here, and I went out of business, so I only had it a couple times.
Is pork a big? I don't know. In my mind, I feel pork would be big in Hawaiian food, but I don't know.
Well, yeah, because of Kahlua pork, but it's Hawaiian style. The type where, traditionally you wrap a whole pig in like banana leaves and then you bury it in the ground and put coals on top. It's slow cooked in the ground. It's very good. Super fatty. Delicious. So that's like Hawaiian style like pork is kind of like the main thing that you get. It's a Kahlua pig. But just like regular like, mainland southern barbecue, Midwestern barbecue, not really available here.
Delicious.
But sure, yeah, Manga Mac bump. Barbecue. Since Seamus came in with the barbecue talk.
What's for dinner? You just gonna have super light dinner now?
I have to figure that out. The reason I went there is I like usually have like stuff prepared, but I kind of use it all up. And I couldn't be bothered cooking tonight. I don't know. I still have chicken and sweet potato. I can do an omelette. I'm desperate.
Oh yeah. Eggs are easy.
Eggs over easy. Get it?
I still have a tub of that spicy Memphis sauce, so I'll probably just keep that for the omelette.
Nice.
It says use it on everything right on the tin.
They only do two. They do three: Memphis, spicy Memphis, and Carolina.
Carolina as in the state Carolina or Carolina Reaper? The pepper.
I'm going to think it's a state. It's like more of a kind of thinner, more vinegary flavor.
Mmm. That
Very
sounds
nice.
good.
It's very nice. I think it's more for brisket and pork.
Oh my god, I'm so hungry now. This sucks. Seamus, did you read or watch anything this week you want to talk about? We're in the middle of what you've been reading.
Venison, nope.
Okay. Alright, what did I want to talk about? I had a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, pick one.
Let me wrap up my anime first. I started watching the new season of Bleach 1000 Year Blood War.
Okay, you kept up with that.
I did. It's nice. You're getting like a high quality anime of Bleach, and they're covering the last arc. honestly, it's still Bleach nonsense, which is what I said about the first season of Thousand Year Blood War. But it's nice. It looks really pretty. And here it's the same thing.
If it looks nice, that really like helps the good qualities of Bleach, which is the style and the designs and stuff like that.
Yes.
So it helps.
And you can ignore all the ridiculous characters with their ridiculous names and whatever the hell the ridiculous powers are. So I feel Darfox, like, did you watch any Bleach anime?
Oh yeah, I was a pretty big fan of Bleach back in the day when it first started airing on Adult Swim. I assume that's where it aired. I watched it through like the Soul Reaver arc, or the Soul Society arc. I know they called Soul Reavers in the English dub. And I never actually finished that arc. The arc that everybody really loved, I never actually finished it because I missed it a few weeks, and then I came back to it, and it was during the Bounce arc, which is
the first,
yeah, one of the first really big and bad like filler arcs.
Mm-hmm.
And that one broke me. Like I was just so over. Like I just really couldn't give a fuck about the Bounce, which are basically they're like vampires, right?
Kind of,
Yeah,
from what I remember. I don't know. It was about like a captain who a made up captain who like was excommunicado or whatever. It's not great. The fillers in Bleach are really bad.
Yeah, it broke me, and I never went back to it. And then it just like I'd pick up stuff on osmosis, but basically I was a big fan of it for a little bit. I just never stuck with it. Never really read the manga except for the end. I pulled the fairy tale on it, and I just kind of read like I don't know, maybe like the last 10 or so chapters.
Okay,
last couple months worth.
I feel like you should pull a fairy tale on this anime. And when they're getting into, like, there's going to be 4 seasons of this 1,000 Year Blood War. When they maybe start on the 4th season, or they're getting into the 4th season, you should go back and watch all these episodes. Because, like, each season is only 13 episodes. So for a total, it's not that bad of, like, a length to watch.
Right.
I think you'll be, like, you'll be confused about some characters maybe you missed in the middle and some references. But in general, you'll be able to parse everything. You should enjoy it. It'll be happening in 2 years because I think they're gonna do 1 season every year. So they're finished, and it started last year. So 2024 is my guess is when this is done. It's new season is good. It's Bleach. More Bleach. All right, let me talk about some manga this week. I started reading Drunk Invader, the manga that was serialized on Comic Days. It actually just recently ended over on Comic Days, but it's short. It's going to be 4 volumes total, I think. Dar, I'm going to send you a link to the Comic Days first chapter.
Roger.
This is a manga written by Rootport.
Oh, I don't like what I see in the cover of this.
And the artist is Yuki Yoshida. The reason Darfox doesn't like this is the cover image for this is there is a young-looking princess.
I'm about to put it on screen.
Okay, yeah. So, this is a isekai manga. Well, it's not really isekai. Well, yeah, it is isekai, but it's not isekai tensei, so it's not a character dying and then being reborn in a fantasy realm. The concept here is Japan found a portal to a fantasy world, and they're trying to do negotiations with a kingdom that they met in this fantasy world for talks of possible trade, or maybe, like, advantage of Japan doing talks of, like, possibly coming into the fantasy realm. Maybe they want to be aggressive and, like, put soldiers in. But right now they're in the talks of, like, it's like sending an ambassador. And they just want to have kind of talks with the kingdom. The fantasy realm has
You know, trade
magic.
deal.
Yeah, trade deals, Seamus. The fantasy realm has powerful magic. However, the way that they're going to do these trade deals and these like talks, they want to use alcohol because they realize the fantasy realm, the I guess you should say the history of like booze making is stuck in like the Middle Ages of Europe. And the main character is Toji Matsuo, a Japanese man who's trying to get a job. And he hasn't been able to because he's too honest at his job interviews. And he's like, what I did most when I was a student was drink booze. Because he loves drinking booze and he's working as a bartender. Can't get a steady job. He actually gets kidnapped by a secret society and a Japanese government agency that is trying to go negotiate with this isekai kingdom. And they're doing it through booze because he goes to visit the kingdom, meets this cute young-looking princess. He gets a kiss on the neck from her, which is actually a magic seal, meaning that if he doesn't please this princess, he's going to be transformed into fucking a frog or whatever. But Toji's thing is he loves alcohol so much, he just wants to serve good alcohol and make people happy. When he has the isekai booze, he's like, oh, this wine tastes like vinegar. This beer is just bitter and acrid and it's disgusting. So this is like a food manga mixed with isekai and specifically about booze and alcohol. And trying to do kind of stuff. Yeah, Dark Fox, flip through it. Tell me why you felt nervous. Tell me why you felt nervous as I answered this text I got from my wife real quick.
Well, the first thing I saw was just a girl, a younger looking girl, and feet. So it just seemed like a feet manga, but I don't know if it actually is. I put up the page where she kisses him and puts a C on him.
Yeah, so the deal here is this princess, this queen of this kingdom, is actually a immortal being. She's had a curse put on her, so she's much older than she looks. It's one of those.
Good. It's worse than I thought.
It is worse than you thought, but the good news is you would think there'd be some weird, lowly, like, romantic things happening between this child-looking female character and like our main character, right? No, it's not the case. He just wants to serve her booze. At the beginning, he's also like, this kid can drink booze? Now, when he learns the truth, he realizes, oh, she's much older. And she's actually trying to find a cure to her immortality. She hates being alive for so long. She's stuck in like her youthful form. And there's a legend that if you drink the most delicious booze, then this legendary booze, it will break immortality and then you can die normally. So that's why she's so interested in getting different alcohol from Japan. What do you say about this concept, Dar? Does it sound interesting? Different?
Oh yeah, I just broke the stream.
Sorry.
No, I was just trying to resize the window and yeah, I mean it sounds fine. It just the art looks fine. It's just I don't know. I don't really have much to say about it. Besides, like, I guess if you're interested in booze stuff, sounds fun.
It's kind of interesting how they mix like the history of like booze making with like the actual plot a little bit. In one of the early chapters, Toji wants to present sake or rice wine to the princess. But when like apparently like his predecessor did sake, and then the princess immediately like flipped out and turned that person into like a slab. Think like Han Solo
Oh, okay.
and carbonite. Is that what it is in Star Trek? Star Wars?
Yeah, I believe so.
Okay. But it's because rice wine or sake. Do you know how you make alcohol traditionally through rice?
You ferment it?
Isn't it?
You do have to ferment it, but rice doesn't naturally ferment.
Oh, do you have to chew it?
Yes, very
Okay.
good.
Yeah, I learned that from that movie. What's that movie called?
Your name.
Your Name, yes.
Yes. Traditionally, rice wine is made from like your human saliva, because there's like a certain thing in your saliva. I think amylase or something like that.
Breaks it down or something?
Yeah, it breaks it down. It's the same thing like when you keep chewing rice over and over, eventually rice starts to taste sweet. It's the same thing. So traditional alcohol made out of rice is made by humans chewing it up and then spitting it into like a bowl, a pot or whatever to ferment. That's why this immortal princess freaked out until they explained like, oh, that's not how we make it anymore. So that was kind of like a neat little thing. It's entertaining. It's entertaining, this manga so far. I like food manga. And so the isekai hook here is like it's pretty decent. I've read about 2 volumes so far. It's short, it's only 4 volumes, so I think I'll keep reading it. But it was different. I want to talk about it. Drunk Invader. Okay, I think we have time to talk about one more manga, so I want to talk about Spunk.
Bunk?
There is a manga I read called Spunk. It is written by Hideki Arai. If Darfox and Seamus search their memory, they remember a manga we talked about a long time ago called Kiichi.
Oh, yes. The little kid manga.
Yes.
Who eventually grows up.
Yes. Becomes a charismatic kind of a dictator in a lot of ways. That's an interesting manga. Hideki Arai draws a lot of weird, interesting manga. Dar, you need to make sure you blur those because this is a very seinen title. Okay.
Yeah, we're blurred.
Okay. So Hideki Arai is an interesting manga artist. A lot of his works are super seinen. And he's probably most known for his series The World Is Mine. It's a crazy psychological drama where you follow a sociopath that is hell-bent on destroying the world. In a lot of ways, he's going through a tear across Japan with his partner as they rape women and then fucking beat up people and do whatever the fuck they want, and they're eventually trying to like plant bombs all over Japan. It's some wild shit. Arai is very very interesting. I think I'd put him up with like someone like oh shoot, I can't remember his name, but it's the
Frisia guy?
yes, exactly.
I knew who you were thinking about.
Jiro
Jesse
Matsumoto is
Jiro,
the
yeah.
person who did Frisia. Yeah, so similar, kind of unhinged, like unreliable protagonists. They're a little bit like all over the place, free loving, maybe sociopathic characters. Spunk is no different, except Hideki Arai's new manga, Spunk, is about S&M and dominatrixes.
Yeah, I haven't got to that part yet.
Okay, so the reason I found this manga is I follow Ryuko on Twitter. She is the manga artist who did, energetic and masochistic husbands are the best.
Oh, okay, yes, I remember that. Old gem.
Yeah. Her story about how she met her husband while she was working at S&M bar. And she was just like, Hideki Arai's new S&M manga is awesome. And I was like, I know Hideki Arai, and I did not know he was doing S&M manga. Let me read this. The first 2 volumes came out simultaneously, and it's pretty interesting. We have 2 main characters. There is a girl here in this first chapter that Darfox is flipping through named Kanna. She's a girl who kind of likes wild things. She likes exciting things. You see in the first chapter her growing up, running away from home. In middle school, she was bullied, and then she made like a huge statement in front of everybody.
I'm gonna bring up a panel of her getting bullied because it kind of maybe shows a little bit of her edgy personality.
Yes. She eventually grows up, has sex, has alcohol, has the drugs, ends up working as a hostess and a cabaret. And through doing that, she meets a Yakuza young leader, or Wakagashira. And this man actually has a specific kink. He's a masochist, and he asks Kanna to step on his face. And that's her first interaction with the world of S&M. And she's like, this is awesome. This is so cool. I love this. That's just her character. At the end of the first chapter, she ends up signing up to work at this S&M club. And at the same time, in the second chapter, we're introduced to the other protagonist, Toko. She is the direct opposite of Kanna, where she's very quiet and reserved, and she doesn't speak her mind. She's kind of very passive. But she had one instance where in high school, she was kind of defiantly painting her toenails. It's something that wasn't allowed in her school, and a boy caught her. And the boy wanted to paint her toenails, and she felt this weird sense of authority over him. As he was on his knees painting her toenails. And so kind of chasing that a little bit, and also the fact that she's kind of ostracized from her family. She wants to change herself, and she is entering this S&M club. So we have 2 characters that are totally opposite of each other, kind of entering the world of S&M, getting into things, and eventually they're changing each other around a little bit. And by the end of the second volume, they've kind of become at odds with each other. Where Kanna is accused of just being free and fun-loving and not thinking deeply and being considerate of people. That Toko is too shy and doesn't speak her mind, and that gets her in trouble. It's good. There's something about Hideki Arai's manga that is it's the same fascination that I have with Jiro Matsumoto manga. The characters that he creates they're full of life. They have really crazy expressions. Dark, can you flip to the beginning of that sample chapter that I sent you? Where Kanna imagines herself as that character from Nausicaa. Who is the character that is Kushana. Kushana. When you're starting out a manga and your main character imagines herself as Kushana, that already says a lot. It is it's some good stuff. I'm very into this story of human drama. I really wish there was an official translation of some of Hideki Arai's work so we could read it in English. But it's very extreme, very seinen. Think super edgy, kind of along the lines of Frisia, like we mentioned, or something like Goodnight Pum Pum. Definitely for male readers. I suspect it's stuff that maybe Morgana would hate. So I think she would actually get a kick out of Spunk. Having female protagonists, I think, helps a lot with this series. Well, yeah, that's my what you've been reading for this week. Let's move along, and before we get into our main segment, let's talk about next week. Next week, Seamus is not going to be here. He's not going to go get more barbecue. He is just legitimately going to be busy with something.
I'm going to see a new actress in theater.
Yeah.
Maybe, barbecue can still happen beforehand. Figure out what's the difference between baby back ribs and St. Louis ribs.
Barbecue Millennium Actress. Not a bad day.
Yep. So it'll just be me and Darfox next week, and it's been a while, but it's time for Darfox Dabbles. It's basically where I'm going to curate a list of manga for Darfox to read, and it's time to go back to Manga Plus. It's been a while since we looked at the newer titles on Manga Plus, and there is a lot of them now that I think Darfox should check out. I already know we'll be taking a quick look at Beat in Motion by Naoki Fujita, or people may know him as Mr. Negative from the Million Tag. Yeah, YouTube series that we did a live translation thing for.
Epic, famous live translation.
There's also a pretty good science fiction thriller series called Shibatarian by Katsuya Iwamuro. Our friend Whimsy Dearest was raving about this, and I agree. This is very interesting manga. Very different. I also know we said we would check out the Shoha Shoten, the Japanese comedian manga. That's drawn by Takeshi Obata of Death Note fame. So that's written by Akinari Asakura, somebody who is not the Death Note person. There's also like a Kenshi shonen battle manga, Darvox, I think you should check out. Kenshi X.
Crunchy X?
You know, the Chinese vampires.
Oh, okay, I see. Okay. Yeah, you actually mentioned that to me a while ago, and I just never got around to looking at it.
Yeah, so like a bunch of mangas like this we'll be checking out. Most of them are Manga Plus, a couple titles from Weekly Shonen Jump that are interesting. Darfox, I'm just going to ask him to read like 1 or 2 chapters of this. You know, at least 1 chapter. He can read a little bit more if he wants. And yeah, we'll just talk about them next week. That's what we'll be doing.
Like lightning round.
Lightning round with Darfox. That we call Darfox Dabbles, Manga Plus. Stay tuned for that. Okay, everybody, we're going to take the stream down for a little bit while we take a break. And then when we come back, we're going to talk about Volume 2 of Ryuko. Stay tuned. Okay, we're back, everybody. Now we are doing part 2 of our Ryuko retrospective. So just a reminder, Ryuko is a manga done by Eldo Yoshimizu. Originally published in 2015, but in France first. And published around the world. Now it's finally coming out in Japan this year. The English edition is put out by Titan Comics. We talked about Volume 1 last time. You know, we actually got retweeted by Eldo Yoshimizu.
Yes.
Who thanked us for being in depth about like reading everything. So that was nice.
Thank you for making the cool manga when we get to look at.
Absolutely. Let's see, the English localization credits for this translation is done by Motoko Tamamura and John Clements. Oh, we do have a lettering credit on this one. Lettering by Amuna Sawatin. Okay. I need to immediately talk about this volume 2. We read the digital edition.
Yep.
I don't know why. We read volume 2, digital edition. We got it over Kindle, so through Amazon. I don't know if Comixology put this out. I don't think it's Comixology because I think they went under by the time this happened. So maybe this is why this happened. But Ryuko Volume 1, digital, reads right to left. And you have to flip your pages to the left. But for whatever reason, Ryuko Volume 2, you flip your pages to the right, even though you still read right to left. What the hell?
Yeah, it's a little confusing at times.
Didn't we have the same problem with that Tezuka Osamu manga?
That sounds familiar. I don't remember which one though. Ayako?
Yes. I think that was
Yeah.
a similar thing where we had to flip the pages to the right, but then we still needed to read right to left. I was just baffled by the choice. And sometimes I would accidentally start reading from the upper left corner by accident.
Right. Or I tap the side of my screen to go to the next page, and I
And
tap
you
the
go
wrong
back
side.
instead.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, a little bit of a crossing of the wires sometimes.
And for some reason, I have the Kindle app on my computer, so I can just read this on my nice big screen, right? The 2-page spreads don't use the full screen.
No, they're cropped for some reason, or
they're
not cropped, but yeah,
it's 40% of the screen space.
Zoomed out for some
Oh
reason.
yeah, zoomed way out, and I was like, why?
Here,
Volume 1 wasn't like this.
I'm gonna put up an example on screen right now.
Oh yeah, show the people. You can show it from the first the title page or whatever, where I was trying to squint and look at the credits.
Well, I'm on a page 13 right now just to demonstrate. This is a single page as it appears, and the next page is going to be kind of like a full page spread. So I'm just gonna go next page, and it just all this black screen all around is just ignored,
I don't understand.
Yeah, it's a shame because I mean, like we talked about last week, the art in this manga is really good. It's it's the reason why you want to read the manga. It's just it's just really stylish, and it's a nice treat to have the art fill your screen sometimes.
Yeah, also, we're talking about how this must look great in a print edition, but we got some feedback from one of our listeners, and they said that they have the print version and it's kind of on cheaper paper that you can see through, the ink on the other side of the page, and it kind of bleeds through multiple pages that you can kind of see multiple pages behind one page. So that doesn't sound great either. It's kind of a shame.
Yeah, it kind of sounds like it wasn't made for manga like that. It wasn't. It's almost like they wanted to print art on it or something like that. That would have had interstitial pages or essays between them or something weird like that.
Yeah, it seems Titan Comics, the publisher of Ryuko in English, in general doesn't handle manga that much, so they probably don't know how to best maybe localize it or print it to its best effect. Also, this wasn't Titan Comics, but Titan Manga, which is a side imprint that's supposed to handle the manga, had this controversy at the beginning of the year over Kamen Rider Kuga, or it was a Kamen Rider manga that was accused of using machine translated stuff. So not the greatest track record, it seems, for Titan Comics. So besides these technical problems with Volume 2 digitally, and I don't know, like some of the lettering issues that I mentioned last time about like the sound effects being in weird, awkward places or just being like kind of like haphazardly put over the sound effects. They're still here, but you know, I don't know if I just got used to it or just like kind of like ignore them. That doesn't really change here. There's not like an improvement here, but it didn't bother me as much. I don't know how you feel, Darvox.
Yeah, same deal.
Okay. Oh yeah, we got all through like I guess I would call the cons of this volume 2 out of the way. Let's just talk about the good art. Oh my gosh. Some of the like action set pieces. There's a scene where Ryuko is busting in on a motorcycle through the window during like the big final fight scene. Like that looks fantastic. Manga looks fantastic. It looks so good. Quality of art and everything has not changed since volume 1. If anything, I had less issues with like the further I kept reading. Last time we talked about some of the perspectives were hard to like parse sometimes. But I mostly had no problem this time. It was very clear almost everything that was happening, and it was still really unique.
I want to put up a couple pages, and I'll describe for the listener of the podcast what's happening. I probably won't put up too many more pages because I've already shown. This will be the third and fourth page I've shown.
Yeah, we don't want to show off too much
yeah,
of
we
the
don't wanna
manga.
show too-
Obviously, we want people to, you know, buy themselves and read it. So,
But this is like still early on in the manga. There's a lot of stuff in this manga. So I just want to highlight the I guess you could say the momentum of the. It kind of reminds me a little bit of some of the spatial awareness I remember in Akira with the Katsuhiro Otomo kind of gunfights where like the top of this page Ryuko is doing kind of like almost like a hurricanrana on a guy and just fucks him up, and when she's on the floor you see in the middle of the panel she picks up the gun and shoots a guy right out the door, and then she rushes him down when he's still like in his dying animation. And then the next page, you can see that she picks him up and uses him as like a body shield. Like that's the kind of like attention to like a action scene detail and like a gunfight that a lot of times manga don't deal with or don't bother with, just because like sometimes you read manga so fast you might just scan something as like, oh, this is an action scene, and you might not even invest like the effort to actually parse what happened. But it is drawn so clearly that like I really appreciate whenever they actually have, I guess you could call it choreography in like drawn in a drawn gunfight. It's something that Akira had like a lot of that stuff. And this has it too. So I think it's really, really cool. Very, very visceral. I guess I should have warned about the blood stuff.
the blood spray on the previous page.
Yeah.
That I actually like that blood spray looks really real, which is the part that is like the gruesome part. It's not like an over the top like huge explosion of blood. It's just like two streams, which kind of makes it like way worse. Oh, you pulled it back up. Okay.
Yeah, surprise. But yeah, like it's just it's very easy to visualize those moves. So I really like that.
It's great. Let's throw to Seamus. Seamus, what do you think of Volume 2?
Like I said, the art continues to like greatly impress. There was one thing I did notice. I don't know if it's intentional or not, but the two like girls who like help her like have more and more clothes on as this manga goes on.
Oh, Valor and Sasori.
Yes.
Unlike the first volume, they're, you know, bikini babes. You think that's done on purpose?
I don't know. I was like, is it like okay now like the manga is getting more serious, or is it like Japan is not as warm as we're like made up Black Sea country?
Maybe that's it.
Kind of just reminds me of what was that Moyoko Ano book, Buffalo Five?
Buffalo Five Gals.
Buffalo Five, yeah, like where it was just like bikini cowboy girls running through the desert in fights and stuff. And Buffalo Five Guys was a lot more of a, I guess you could say, a lighthearted book than this, so it doesn't quite match. But that is what I was thinking of.
I was thinking, is it like right now it's like all right, the situation is more serious, so they're like, all right, we can't just be like running around like having fun times. We be like, right, we gotta shoot people now.
Possibly. Seamus, how do you feel about the plot when Harim shows back up? And he's like, I'm a mercenary group, but he's like backed by like the U.S. government, CIA.
I want to ask actually, Dar, is Militias Without Borders, is that like a Metal Gear? Is there something similar in Metal Gear?
Yes, it's actually it's literally the same thing. It's Militaries Without Borders. They pronounce it in French. They're saying in French in Metal Gear. So it's like Militaires Sans Frontières or something like that. It's
Oh,
supposed to
like
be
the
Doctors Without Borders, but
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
Military Without Borders. So I'm not sure when this was written. It's
2015.
2015. When did Peace Walker come out? This came out before Peace Walker, I'm pretty sure. So you're safe, mangaka. But it's like
Kojima though. What about Kojima? Oh wait,
we
it didn't come out
know.
in Japanese.
Well,
And hold on,
Kojima was very worldly. He could have
Wait,
read it
no.
in French.
Peace Walker came out in 2010.
Damn, that long ago?
Yeah, that's old.
I know it's old, but like 2015 is old.
Are we?
Walker also set in Afghanistan.
No,
No, it was like South America.
Wait, I thought one of them was
Central
set in
America.
Afghanistan?
Yeah, American Started 5 is set in Afghanistan, but that came out way later. Peace Walker, the one that's very heavy on MSF, Militaries on Frontiers. That one is set in Central America, mostly Nicaragua. So not exactly the same, but like the way Harim was dressed with the trench coat and kind of like the eye patch. Yeah, it was very big boss. It was very big boss like. So
I am curious. Is it like is he like pulling from Metal Gear, or are they both pulling from like something else we're not seeing?
Well, Peace Walker was super heavy on the revolutionary iconography of like Che Guevara and like just a lot of stuff like that. So it could just be pulling on famous iconography of guerrilla warfare leaders and stuff like that, which there's a lot of them that kind of looked in that ballpark. It's why
Che
like
Guevara
Snake
with a beret or whatever.
Yeah, it's why Snake looked like that in Peace Walker. It's just because that was the main inspiration. So it is entirely possible that it's not a direct reference or a direct crib off of Metal Gear, but it is pretty close. And it being 5 years after Metal Gear, I guess it could be a nod. I mean, like Kojima's a weird jet setting guy, so it's possible he's met the mangaka, who's like the mangaka is primarily not a manga. He's primarily like an artist, right? So it's entirely possible that they even know each other. I have no idea if they do. But be a fun thing to Google.
Do we need to add Kojima and be like, have you read Ryuko by Eldo Yoshimizu? You might like this.
I guess we could. I don't like anybody who adds Kojima because they're like, boss, I'm waiting for my next deployment. I look forward to it. Like they're all like role playing, like Kojima's like big boss and shit.
Boss, have you read Ryuko?
What's the manga's name?
Eldo Yoshimizu. start looking up this thing. Seamus, let's talk more about the plot of this. What did you think about the big thing about the Emperor's, the Golden Seal, and how Ryuko is like actually destined to become the Emperor of Black Glory?
All I could think of was the Johnny Tone movies, Election, Election 2, and Drug War. I was just like,
I knew it.
like, to be fair, there is similarities, more with Election 2, and like that whole not wanting your like child to follow in your footsteps. And I don't know, I just kind of like laughed at the idea of like, oh yes, there's like these 2 million members, and they can like overthrow the US, overthrow the Chinese government. I was like, I don't think that's going to work. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like between that and like that and the Afghanistan thing and the fake Black Sea Company, and you got like the old MSF and all this. It did, give me that kind of like Kojima, Metal Gear, like we're just throwing a load of shit in. We're just gonna like mix it all up.
These are all the headlines Kojima has read in the last 3 years.
Like Metal Gear Solid meets Black Lagoon. Wait, was Revi? We talked about this last week. Is she Chinese? Black Lagoon.
I forget if that's established or not. Maybe two hands.
She is Chinese American, according to Wikipedia.
Chinese American. I wouldn't expect her to be American.
I guess that's like, we mentioned this last week too, but like with the plot and the story and the characters in this like manga, they're not really original at all. We've definitely seen them in other things. We just mentioned Metal Gear, and James mentioned Election 2. But the art by Eldo Yoshimizu just carries you through it, and you don't care. It's like, the plot could be whatever. It's like, it's a good standard plot. It doesn't have to be like crazy or like elaborate or fascinatingly world building. When you have like art this good that just carries you through the panels. There's that scene where Ryuko meets her mother at the snowed-in like temple. All those shots of snow look fantastic. I love snow in manga, or snow scenes in manga, because there's such a like intricate use of white ink to make like the snowfall that like contrasts with like the black trees and like the spots of black that you have on those like backgrounds. There's a shot of like a Buddha, but it's backlit, so it's like the Buddha's face is dark and looks really ominous, except for like the white parts that are supposed to be like the shine. Just really, really beautiful looking art all throughout this manga. Just like Volume 1. It doesn't stop. I was not disappointed with Volume 2 at all. I guess we should talk about the ending to this. The ending of this manga is a little open-ended. Ryuko basically escapes with Harim to, I guess, back in the Middle East. There's a final shot of, it looks like Ryuko standing in possibly Afghanistan, and they've made a hospital, harem hospital. She's standing there with a child.
Child might look like it could be Harim's child, maybe, but the timeline doesn't match up at all.
It doesn't. And I guess like the story also like the final chapter kind of focuses on Harim's background. Because Harim was like adopted by American CIA agent. And it talks about how like, oh, you know, I want you to live your life even though like you betrayed the American government. Did you feel that was a little cheesy, Dar? Or were you like just like okay with that? Because I was mostly okay with that.
Yeah, I'm fine with it. That the father, by the way, really reminded me of I think it's
Colonel
Brian.
Roy.
No, Brian Cox. I think is the actor. Do you remember in The Bourne Identity? There
Yes.
was an older man who was basically like Jason Bourne's handler.
Yes. He does look like Brian Cox.
Yeah, he looked very similar to. I'm trying to bring a picture of him in Bourne Identity, but give me a moment. Like so much so that like it kind of felt like it was a, you know, like a model for the. Right, put it up on stream for a second. Pretty much exactly what the drawing looked like. Like these three up here, and it being kind of like he's kind of like a handler for a spy essentially.
Yes. It looks exactly like that.
Yeah. Another serendipitous inspiration, maybe. My Google powers have not let me find anything with Kojima or Aldo
Aldo
Yoshimizu.
Yoshimizu. Yeah.
So either nothing's been said or nothing exists.
Until now, until Manga Machinations. Let's make that connection. Dar, is there any other parts that you want me to mention about Ryuko?
Yeah, I don't know. I guess I don't really know if I'm conflicted about it or if I dislike it or not. But the fact that like Ryoko sort of gets rescued by Harim, um, and they seem to copulate and maybe even have a baby. And I think that's not like a bad ending for Ryoko, but like her whole character is such a like badass force of nature. It's I don't know if it's kind of sucks that she gets like hitched and goes off somewhere. I don't know. Not that I wanted her to become like the leader of like the Dragon Dynasty or whatever it's called. It makes sense why that character wouldn't want to do that and would just want to like somehow curb that. But I wasn't really expecting her to be like saved by the dick, you know.
I mean, to be fair, like she does in that big fight sequence in the middle of this manga, she basically saves the day and takes out the bad guy. So
Yeah, and like to be clear, I think it's okay for like first of all, I should say I don't think this is a female power fantasy. I think maybe somebody could read it that way. She's like a femme fatale. It kind of still feels like it's like a story like guys would dig, right? But like let's say we want to read it as like something for women. It's a female horror fantasy, like badass woman. She's still from volume 1. she was still very like in tune with her emotions. She wasn't like a cold-hearted monster or anything like that, right? It's not like she's a blank slate. It's not like she's like Gogo 13, which is literally just like a blank slate. Um, she was a character who had conflicted feelings about what happened to her father, and then when she learned about the truth of what the deal was with her father, it really was really tragic for her because she did something kind of horrible. So she was always like, her emotions and her like feelings was always a big part of her identity. So there isn't necessarily anything wrong with her like indulging in like sexy times or romance or whatever. I don't think it breaks the character. I just feel like I guess I wasn't expecting it. There is volume 3 though, so volume 3 is getting made apparently.
Yeah, Eldo Yoshimizu is currently working on Ryuko. I guess like the subtitle is supposed to be like Chinese arc or in China arc or Hong Kong arc or something like that. So there is more Ryuko manga being made right now. But I can understand also why this was put out as, 2 parts, Ryuko 1 and 2, and it kind of completes the story on its own. But it's open-ended enough with that ending where we could write more stories about Ryuko, which is what is happening. So, possible Ryuko Part 3 in the future of Manga Machinations? I'd be down for that. Hell yeah. I would love to read more stuff by Eldo Yoshimizu. And we might check out the some of the other manga that Titan Comics has put out by Eldo Yoshimizu. Seamus, do you have any thoughts about like the end where Ryuko ends up with Harem? You have a take on that?
Not really, in the sense that she's kind of out of any other option beyond getting shot by the U.S. military.
You're saying it's not true love?
Or,
She did it out of convenience?
or I guess she could have joined a Buddhist monastery like her mother.
And go into hiding.
Yep.
I guess technically.
That could have been the ending. She could have followed her mother into Buddhism.
I don't think any of us predicted that. I think we were saying you think the mom's gonna be a bad guy, or you think she's gonna be like in captivity. She was kind of neither.
Just like stepped away from the whole thing.
Yep.
Admirable in a way.
Yeah, Volume 1 really sets it up for the mom to be either like a villain or possible damsel. And that does feel like a good like twist or change. But then that's also like the mom is also tied with like, let me tell you about the giant past about like the women who all become emperors of the Black Dragon. And that part was like so fantastical and like over the top. I was like, okay.
Well, the Black Dragon was almost just like a super, I guess you could say, like a super version of like the Triads, essentially. Where
Yeah.
like a lot of the history was kind of similar in the sense that like they were a failed rebellion and then they went into hiding and then they became a secret society, which happened in real life and eventually just became the mafia, the Chinese mafia. But here it becomes like a secret society, like a Metal Gear secret society, where it's just like it's just all over the world. They have these super devoted secret agents that will follow any order of whoever's in charge, which is kind of impossible.
Maybe we're just reading too deeply in it. Eldo Yoshimizu just wanted to draw a cool action manga. And that's what we have. A very well drawn and cool action manga.
The Ryuko could be my Empress any day of the week. Am I right, fellas?
Star Fox also puts on a leopard one piece and rides his motorcycle around
Yes.
with a long gaping chest.
The
V-neck.
unrealistic part of that is the riding the motorcycle part. I would not ride a motorcycle. It's against my nature.
Now that I'm flipping through this volume 2 again, I'm looking at some of those scenes of Ryuko. There's quite a amount of like angles where like it is her like chest or like her crotch and like that's and her butt, and that's all drawn, you know, very sexy, but it's only one part of like the drawing, you know. Everything, there's so much else that's happening in those drawings. Like it's just, it's not like what you would normally call like fan service in a manga. You know what I mean, Dar?
Yeah. No, yeah. I mean, like, it is sexy and it is, you know, it's like TNA, but like it isn't lingering on it to the detriment of the rest of the art or the story. It's just part of the identity of the book.
Yes.
I'm gonna put up another panel. This is kind of past towards the end of the past the middle, not towards the end. Just because I don't think I've ever seen this.
Okay.
So that's the leopard print that Dagazu mentioned that Ryoko's wearing in the bottom of the page. Above, like, the sound effects are also leopard printed. I guess because they're on Team Ryoko. I don't know why that really stood out to me. I don't know why.
Yeah, I'm flipping through the pages around this, and like, it seems like they're mostly like gunshots and other things coming from Team Ryuko.
That's pretty funny. I didn't notice that first time I was reading it.
Maybe Aldo Yoshimizu really likes drawing the leopard print. He's like, this is fun. What if I just filled the sound effect with the leopard print too? You know, part of the reason why I was complaining about the lettering being so flat in this series with the English localization is because so much of the sound effect work that Aldo Yoshimizu draws is so stylized and it's really striking. It's definitely it doesn't feel like it's just a sound effect. It's part of the art, you know. It adds to the flavor of the manga. Sometimes the sound effects are like front and center. They're like the most predominant thing in the panel. Other times they're like see-through, like he draws like a person shooting a gun behind that as well. They're huge. Who is that manga artist, Seamus, that you like that does outdoors? It also does giant sound effects.
Oh, Yoka.
Right, Yuichi Yokoyama.
Yes.
Reminds me of that. I think we're winding down our discussion for Ryuko, though. I think we said what we needed to say about Volume 2. Dark Fox, why don't you give me overall thoughts about these 2 volumes of Ryuko? What you thought about this series?
Pretty simple. I liked it. Sometimes I felt it was slightly too wordy for my taste, especially since I was there mostly for the art. But the story stuff is still cool and interesting, and I like the character Ryuko. Like I said, or like I tried to say before, she's kind of multifaceted. You know, she is cool and still like a person with feelings. So So I think that like if most manga had half as much style as this, then they would be okay. But this one has this much more style, and it's even better.
Very nice. What about you, Seamus? You have any final thoughts about the series as a whole?
I don't know. Do you have any like different thoughts from the first volume beyond like the art in this is just great to look at, and like the paneling and the layout and the perspective, and like there was that one bit I can't remember, like I think it's in that gunfight where I think it happens in the first volume as well, but I didn't bring it up, where like she goes for a gun but the gun is like out of panel, and then she just blows your man's head off. But I don't know. That's kind of like the bit I find like stuff action where it kind of like breaks the panel or does something out of a paneling, or like the kind of perspective. I think, is it like where she's going towards the end and she's on the bike shooting, but it's strong where like the bullets are almost like coming towards you off the page.
Just really dynamic action scenes, drawn super well.
The plot and all that stuff, yeah, it's like it's grand. It's kind of it's interesting in like everything that's thrown together. The whole like Kojima kind of thing.
Oh, like the story and like Middle East and fake Saudi Arabia, and
It's like the Japanese version of like the I don't know, British spy goes all over the world.
yeah, you got
But
that side story with the I forgot the name of the character, the Russian soldier
yes,
who should have died in Afghanistan, saved by Tatiana, the daughter of the general who was doing shady stuff. Everything we've seen before in other media, but it's just, it's
an American artist. What's his name? James Stokey. I haven't actually read the interview. Hold on, let me get up the
All right. Well, Seamus will set it
interview.
up.
The
Yeah,
title describes this manga well.
okay.
A simple story done bombastically. James Stokey on Orphan and the Five East. This is literally just a title of the interview. I had to actually read it, but I was like, that's actually a very like apt description of a lot of stuff where it's like, yeah, like there's nothing. You're not like, oh, this is such an innovative plot, but you're like, you just execute it so well. Like, who really gives a fuck?
You both feel like either an homage or inspiration from action movies, and cinema as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I really, really enjoyed Ryuko. And I've become a fan of Eldo Yoshimizu. It's the same what I said last week as well, but... And I'd love to read whatever he does next, whether it's with the Ryuko character or some of his other works. I guess I'm more interested in reading the other works because I want to see what else he can do. As in just this cool femme fatale character that we have, but maybe something a little bit more original.
I think there is that thing about, what's the thing I mentioned last time, where it's like the Guardians of the World argue over should they destroy the entire world or just humanity. Like Hin or something like that.
Hin Kai Pun.
Yes.
Yeah. I think I can totally see us doing a one shot on this in the future, so definitely want to take a look at that. But yeah, anything else to say about Ryuko, Darfox?
Nope, I think we got it.
All right, same with you, Seamus.
Yep.
Very nice. Yeah, this was a nice and short and sweet retrospective. And we really enjoyed Ryuko by Eldo Yoshimizu, by Titan Comics. And yeah, that is gonna end this episode, I guess. Let's just wrap everything up. I want to thank Darfox and Seamus for being on this episode with me this week. Reminder that next week we'll be doing a Darfox Dabbles and looking at some manga over on Manga Plus. Stay tuned for that. If you enjoyed Manga Machinations, listening to our podcast, please subscribe to us, review us, rate us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, wherever else you can find us. If you want to help us out, donate to our coffee. ko-fi.com/mangamac. And again, thank you to the people who donate to our coffee. Send emails over to mangamachinations@gmail.com. You can tweet at us at mangamacpodcast. That's also our Instagram and our threads. That's right, Dark Fox?
Yes.
Okay.
Username, yeah.
Check out our website, mangamachinations.com. Our Tumblr is mangamachinations.tumblr.com. Subscribe to our YouTube channel where we're streaming these recordings, youtube.com/mangamactv. Join our Discord server. Come play Mahjong with us. We're doing Mahjong machinations on Mondays. Monday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time right now. We might change that around. We're thinking about possibly doing AMQ nights as well. I think Street Fighter is kind of hard right now. We don't have enough members, but we might start doing AMQ, anime music quiz nights. That will be fun, Dar.
Oh, yes.
So, but yeah, join our Discord server. Come talk to us. Discord.me/mangamac. And you can follow my personal Twitter at Dakazoo, follow Darfox at Darfox8, and follow Seamus at Seamus2389. Seamus is spelled without an H. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for listening to us this week. Bye-bye.